Louisville Den Johnson's closed silver casket was at the front of the sanctuary next to his favorite Harley on Saturday, and scores of mourners lined up to wish him a final farewell, many of them sporting tattoos, black leather vests and silver skull rings. Here, on this same spot within the Heart of Fire Church in the rural outskirts of this Kentucky city, Johnson had built his reputation as the congregation's pope. Here, he delivered sermons to a flock of self-described bikers, outlaws and lost sheep, giving them hope and direction. Here, he presided over a fun-loving, boozy crowd that liked to party. Here, he launched an unlikely bid to become a state representative. And here, a week ago, he denied published allegations that he had gotten drunk and sexually assaulted a teenage friend of his daughter's after a party at the church fellowship hall. His return, in a casket, came days after he killed himself amid the ensuing tumult. A lawmaker accused of molesting a teen killed himself. His widow calls it a high-tech lynching. The atmosphere at the church was a mixture of sadness and anger over the weekend, sadness at the loss of the gregarious pastor, anger at the local investigative news organization that reported the allegation that Johnson had forced himself on a 17-year-old girl. Many in this congregation, including Johnson's wife, Rebecca, and their 4 children, staunchly deny the allegations could be true. There's just a lot of hurt. He saved a lot of these guys from an early grave, Johnson's 25-year-old son Judah told the Washington Post. You've got a bunch of guys who were like sons to my dad, and we all feel really hurt. We just want it to stop, and we wish we could get someone to make it stop, you know. Johnson's suicide Wednesday at age 57 came amid a stream of sexual assault and harassment allegations against powerful men in U.S. society, including the entertainment business, the media, local politicians, judges, mayors, and members of Congress. His death followed his denials of sexual assault accusations published in a lengthy story by the Kentucky Center for Investigative Reporting on December 11. It was an end that his wife and friends say they never saw coming. In retrospect, they said, it appears that while Johnson had found a way to balance his seemingly contradictory natures of a born-to-be-wild biker and his calling to ministry, it was his entry into politics and public scrutiny last year that was perhaps too much for him. His lifestyle was so unorthodox that the mainstream Christian leaders just felt there were sinners in his church. And then in politics, the leaders of the Republican Party felt the same way, that he was out of the mainstream, said Jeff Klusmeyer, chairman of the Kentucky Young Professionals for Trump, noting that members of Louisville's 2 largest motorcycle clubs, the Grim Reapers and Outlaws, consider Johnson's church to be neutral territory. But that's where the rubber meets the road. Christ came to save the lost. The foyer of the Heart of Fire Church celebrates Johnson's pastoral career with a wall dedicated to the 9/11's terrorist attacks. Johnson has long said he was in New York at the time and administered last rites to victims at the World Trade Center. The wall displays photos of Johnson at anniversary services in New York in 2003 and 2004 with him standing next to former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, former President George H.